Mishpatim. These are the rules that you shall set before them. There's a lot of rules. In our last Parsha, we went from being individuals and we became a nation. We accepted the Torah, and the key word here is that we have to move forward. We have to move forward every day, but at this particular time in history, we have now a plan that was given to us by God. And the laws in this Parsha, Mishpatim, were to be the guideline of our whole relationship we have with our fellow human. The goal is for building up a human society through justice, compassion, love, honesty, and civility. The legal laws by which the Jews had to follow in building up a Jewish society are based on fair and integrity, full of order. These laws by God protected the individual by the principles of morality and decency. Judaism is based not only on the Ten Commandments, but on hundreds of ways in which we are called on to sanctify our relationship with other people, with animals, and with the land. In summary, this is our manual. This is our manual that you received. When you receive an appliance or anything, you get a manual. It shows you how to deal with that in the correct and proper form. So simply put, this was the manual. Now, it's very confusing because there's so much. So I'm going to ask you to look at it like this. Very simply. If you had an equation, x plus y, and you always knew the sum, and the sum was love your neighbor as yourself, x plus y always has to equal that. So the x and the y are your lives, your individual stories that are unique to your individual family, your personal history. But the sum of the equation will always be the same for all humanity, not just Jews. Love your neighbor as yourself. And so therefore we must find every way possible to come up with the correct sum. That's how we're going to live, in a very simple way. Love your neighbor as yourself. And yes, there are people who don't do that. There are countries that don't do that. Can't change that. Can't change that. And hopefully, when you or your neighbor or your brother or your friend do it, it becomes contagious. But we know ego and power and all of those things get in the way. Focus on you. Focus on your family. Focus on your community, your city, your state, and your country. But start with your household. So the book of the covenant, the laws, that's what it's called, the Mishpatim. Moses receives all of the divine commandments for different sections of society. One interesting thought is that the rules given to the Israelites are unique to them and their personal experiences. They had their X and Y. There were like different cultures all around the Jews all the time, right? We weren't alone on a desert island. We were amongst other people. So you have to understand that the Israelites lived and were part of, in their lives, things that were very familiar to them, like other people. That's why in the Torah you're going to find sacrifices, and you're going to find other communal rituals that are also common in other cultural practices. But God instructed the Israelites through the concepts of the Torah, which are meant for us, and in this context of the storyline, the Israelites are to recognize that God is the one and only God, and to do these rituals with a sanctified manner. It is how we Jews today do what we do in a secular society, but we do it in a Jewish, halakhically acceptable way. We live amongst other people, but we have to show that there is sanctity in everything that we do. This is the summary of Mishpatim. And again, not everybody follows the rules. Not every Jew or Gentile follows the rules. Worry about yourself. And if you live and function in a godly, sanctified way, people will be attracted to that and hopefully will copy your behavior. So that's what Mishpatim is. A lot of rules. One step at a time. Recognizing the sum of the equation is the first step. And when you recognize to treat people, animals, plants, anything that has a living thing correctly, everything else falls into place. Shabbat shalom.